Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Kitchen Accomplished. I am your host, CL. Today I have an exciting dish. I'm going to prepare for you a very juicy and scrumptious salmon croquette with a tomato and green onion hash. So, what we're going to start off with is the salmon. So I've already deboned the salmon, the can comes out of the can. So I took the bones out of that and I kind of mixed it up a little bit. So what I like to add to that is 1 egg. So what I usually do is add 1 egg per can. So I would normally go out and catch my own fish. I used to go fishing in New York quite a bit when I lived there, and I never caught any salmon, but I did catch these salmon on sale at Walmart. So it was a good deal. I bought a few cans, and with the pandemic that's going on, it's good to stock up on as much stuff as you can find. So to this egg and salmon, I'm going to add some green onions that I sweated. Some onions that I sweated, and some garlic along with some fresh thyme. So it's already been sauteed, and so all I have to do is mix this in. Now, some people tend to like to put raw onions directly into their salmon mix, but for me, that's kind of overpowering. The onions can be kind of strong for the salmon taste, and so I like to sweat my onions first, sweat the garlic, and add a little thyme in there. So I already sauteed the onions and the garlic, and I add a little pinch of thyme in it. So I'm going to add a little more thyme in it, and this is fresh thyme. So I'm going to add that to it like that, and then I'm going to add a couple of dashes of onion powder and garlic powder, a little fresh cracked pepper, and a pinch of salt. Not too much, just a pinch. So we're going to mix that up really nicely. Nice and mixed. So people always ask me, so CL, how do you get your salmon to be so juicy? Here's the trick, and I'm going to show you right away. As soon as I grab a plate here, okay, I have my plate, and so what I'm going to show you is how you actually bread the fish, form the patties without it drying up after you cook it. So what I do is I have some flour here, breading a cornmeal mix that I've already added salt and pepper to. Make sure that you never overwork your salmon. And what I like to do is take a nice handful like that. I like nice thick croquette patties. Nice thick patties, maybe a little bit more. Make patties like that. And so this is the trick of not overworking your croquettes. I never put the cornmeal into the mixture. I take the cornmeal in a spoon and I coat it over the top. Coat it around the edges so everybody gets coated there. And then I flip it over and I do the other side. And I don't do any more forming of these patties. That is good to go. Now, after I make a couple of these, I'll do one more for you, so you get the idea again of what I'm doing here. So I got my patty, and you see I'm not forming it too much. I'm not pressing on it too much. I just want to make a nice round patty. Go back into the cornmeal, get it nice and breaded around the edges, turn it over again, do the other side, And there you go. So after you've formed all of your patties, what you want to do after that, after you've formed all your patties, what you want to do after that is put them in the refrigerator for 20-30 minutes so this mixture can set and it will come together. It may be a little loose now, but it'll come together once it's set for about 20 to 30 minutes. Just put that in there, and I've already have a couple that I pre-made. So these are pre-made, and what I want to do now is go over to my skillet, turn that up, and what I do to make sure that the oil in the skillet is hot is I take the bottom of a wooden spatula or a wooden spoon and put it on there. And once it starts to bubble, then you know it's hot enough. So I'm just going to let that go for a minute so it can get warm. So I told you about my diced tomato and green onion hash. So let me show you what I'm going to do with that. I already have a can of diced tomatoes that I just ran my knife through. I drained it off and ran my knife through it, chopped it up nice and fine. And so I'm only going to use 2 of these green onions here. So you want to take the edges off and make sure that whenever you're using a knife that you use proper cutting techniques. You want to keep your fingers tucked in like this and chop close to the knife so you don't cut yourself. And you just run your knife through the chops like this all the way through. Keep your fingers nice and tucked. So these green onions are nice and long, so it takes a while to cut through. And so you have nicely chopped green onions. So I already turned my skillet on back here and need to wait till that comes to temperature. Let me check my pan for the salmon. That looks like it's good to go. And so with these, I'm just gonna take my spatula and sit those right in there like that. You probably hear them sizzling. So they're sizzling away. Everything's good to go there. And so with my tomato relish, I'm gonna add a little olive oil, coat the bottom just a little bit. Come over here, get a little bit of the tomatoes, get me a spoon. I'm not going to use all of these, just maybe half of it. Put that in there like such. Set that away. And see, I don't want my onions to overcook. I want them to have a little crunch to them. So I'm going to put those in. I'm going to put those in right now. This is a really fast relish. So what am I going to do for seasoning? Well, I'll show you here. Get my spoon. I left my spoon over there. So for seasoning, I'm going to add just maybe a 1/4 spoon of sesame seed oil. A little bit goes a long way. About a teaspoon of rice wine vinegar, some dried basil, a little bit of cracked pepper, and a pinch of salt. And we're just going to let that cook through a little bit. Let that warm up. At the same time, I want to check my croquettes. They don't take long to cook, so we're going to turn those over. Turn those over. Oh, this smells delicious. I wish you could smell that. Look at that. My diced tomatoes and green onions. It's beautiful. Smells delicious. So I'm going to come back over there. So while these continue to cook, I already have a couple that are already done for you. So here they are right here. So let me get this out of the way for you. I already have a couple of croquettes here. Come over here and get my relish. It's ready. Turn that off. Turn that off. And we're just going to go over the top with this. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. So, just for fun, just add a touch of olive oil, just a touch. Get these out of the skillet. Those are done. Now, how do I like this? This is beautiful. I have my fork, and I can't go without a glass of wine. What is today? It's hump day. Nothing goes better on hump day than a glass of wine and some nice salmon croquette. So let's go in and taste this. Get the relish, piece of that salmon. It's nice and juicy. Look at that. Can you see that? Nice and juicy. The tomatoes are nice and bright. Those onions add a nice crunch to it. I get a little bit of that sesame seed oil. Cheers. So, if you like this video, what I'd like you to do for me is go on to my YouTube channel, subscribe, like it, share it, so that you'll get the message the next time I come on. And I just have one question today. After seeing this nice and simple meal, what are you going to accomplish in your kitchen today?